Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are back for Somebody's Son, Season 1, Episode 3, and they're talking about Mom Knows Best. That's what they titled this episode, Mom Knows Best. But I'm going to go ahead and retitle it, and I'm going to retitle it Mad at Your Mama. Because the new guy, Chad, is mad at his mama. Woo, he is mad at his mama. They don't get along, y'all. They do not get along. Not that well. Not that well. No wonder. Now I can see why he went to go live with his daddy at 8. Because this mama was like, I can't handle him. We fuss and fight too much. He's hard-headed. Sent him to his daddy. And then he went to his daddy. And he's still probably a little bit hard-headed. He and his mama, they clash. You could see it already. But we're going to have to talk about the new guy, Chad. He's good looking, though. There's one thing I can say about this series. They have chosen some good looking people, both the men and the women. They've chosen good looking people. They've chosen people who are doing something with their lives. I know we got the new girl on here. What's her name? Jasmine. Well, she went to Europe. She went to Europe and she studied abroad. So I'm not going to say she ain't doing nothing with her life. She's just getting started, though. That's for sure. She's definitely getting started. But we're going to have to talk a little bit about James and Charlize, a little bit more what's going on there. But before we get started, I'm going to have to ask you guys to like my video. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment down below. And we will be right back to talk about this episode. See you soon. Well, this episode, we got to see a little bit more with James and Charlize. Remember, we had Alyssa, who's 25. We had Sabrina, she's 29. And we had Bravon, which is 31. And they all feeling James, every single one of them saying, James, yeah, he's what I like. He is what I like. And in the end, James agreed with the mom that Chisholm was the one that should have been sent home last week. I disagreed, but okay. They decide they're going to go paintballing. This is going to be the test to see how well they communicate with each other. And we find out that James ain't got no communication. He an engineer. We find out that James ain't got no communication. So it goes real bad with Alyssa. Alyssa ends up getting put out, losing the game. Sabrina ends up losing as well. The only person who did well was Bravon. Bravon was the only one up there doing well. And we know why she did well, because when she got on the show earlier, she was the one that told us that her girlfriends told her the reason why she's not married or in a relationship or whatever else is because she over communicates. I told you back then it means you talk too much. But this time it paid off. Bravon's talking too much. Over communication paid off, because James doesn't know how to communicate. So Bravon said, that's okay. I will pick up the slack. I will take over. It's going to be interesting to see how the two of them play out. On the outside, I don't believe that James is even really all that sort of attracted to Bravon. He doesn't seem like he likes her that much, to be honest with you. James seems like he is so stuck on Alyssa that everyone else here is just filler. They're just here to pass the time away. Something about James tells me that he's already made up his mind, and the girl he wants is Alyssa. That's it. Everybody else, you're just like the girl he goes out with because Alyssa has something to do that day. Are you that girl? Are you the girl the guy calls because, you know, the girl he really wanted to go out with is busy? That's what I'm starting to pick up on Sabrina and Bravon, that James has his eye on Alyssa already. He was all excited when Alyssa was going to play, because he was like, you know what? She plays Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty. This is going to be great. But when they got out there on the battlefield of the paintball, he said he was let down by Alyssa. Well, you didn't do no leading. You didn't do any leading, James. Not at all. So I don't know. You know what? the game was about communication style, but it was also going to be about to see how well of a leader that James is. I didn't really see James pumping up his partner. I didn't see James giving his partner any coaching. I didn't see any of that. So James is probably a quiet guy, like I said last time. He probably is a quiet guy, and back in the day, he didn't get all the women because he might have been nerdy and he might have been quiet. Oops, my voice is going. He might have been nerdy. He might have been quiet. Now he's older. He's got a little bit more confidence in himself. He's got a good job. He's got a good salary. So now he decides he wants to date women like Alyssa, who works in the club, in the nightclub. Boy. In the end, I don't even know what's going to happen at the end of the show, but something tells me he's going to choose Alyssa. And then he's going to choose Alyssa, and then Alyssa's going to be like, he's boring. He's boring. But the over-communicator, Bravon, she won the game. And you could tell that James wasn't too happy about it. He didn't really want to take her out. Like I said, Bravon and Sabrina, Bravon for sure. Bravon, he don't want to take her out. Sabrina, maybe. But then we got to meet a new gentleman. His name is Chad, and we got to meet his mother, Kina. Chad is a financial analyst. He's 30 years old. He says he wants a woman to settle down with. He's 30. He's ready to settle down, which I find that rather interesting, being at 30, ready to settle down. I think it's good. I wonder if that came as a result of him living with a parent, his father. I wonder if his father remarried or had a new woman after the mother. I really wonder what his dynamics look like. But he says he is outgoing, funny, smart, joyous, ambitious, and goal-oriented. Basically, he's saying he's the whole package. So, like I said about Chad knows what he wants in terms of what he wants for his life. And he's put a lot of emphasis on providing for a woman. And I imagine that might have come from him growing up with his father. And I think that's all very, very admirable. And so he said he has a bachelor's. He's working towards his master's. And he also wants to build himself a CPA firm. So on paper, Chad seems like the type of man that a lot of women around here are talking about. They talk about they want an alpha male, they want a leader, they want a provider, they want a protector, they want him good looking. How tall is he? Is he 6 feet? Because that's the other thing they want. He got to be 6 feet. And he gets to meet a whole lot of ladies, and they're all very, very, very pretty ladies. And Chad said that he's really only been in 3 or 4 relationships. And and a lot of times he says that what interfered with really getting more deep with a woman was because he was very focused on his career. I say this about a lot of women in your 20s. Most men, if they are career oriented, they're going to be really grinding in their 20s because that's the time they do want to build up their career. If you find a man and you're in your 20s and he's not grinding on his career in the 20s, girl, it ain't never coming. It ain't never coming. If he ain't grinding in his 20s, what you think? He gonna start grinding in his 40s? If he lazy in his 20s, there's a good chance he's gonna be lazy in his 30s and his 40s. Because sometimes when people are lazy their entire 20s, sometimes not only are they lazy, they do so much damage to their life, making so many mistakes that they end up spending all their 30s trying to correct the mistake they made in their 20s. And so by the time they get back on track, they're 40 years old. They are 40 years old. Chad said he wants a woman that is going to motivate him and keep him from going and growing and doing more. Chad is prescribing to the Kevin Samuels model. I'm going to tell you that right now. He is part of the manosphere. He hasn't said it yet, but I'm telling you right now, he wants a woman that's going to be, what did Kevin Samuels used to say? Not a woman that was motivating, inspiring. It was a term he used to always use. I can't remember. Some of you might, inspirational. Was that it? I don't know. Somebody let me know who used to watch Kevin Samuels. He had a term of what he thought a woman should be to a man. And I'm going to tell you right now, Chad prescribes to that. When he was sitting down with his mother, Kina, his mother said that she wanted him to have a woman that was successful, goal-oriented, not too promiscuous. And Chad said, what's wrong with promiscuous? What's wrong with not too promiscuous? And the mom was like, well, the way she dresses, that could be a red flag. And Chad said, not all the time. Not all the time. This was the first little whiff of you started getting that the mom and the son weren't exactly on the same page. Now, we know this is about the mom and son not necessarily being on the same page. That's why the mom is here. But something about Chad tells me that Chad wanted to come on the show because Chad, too, wanted to find a woman. And he hasn't had success because he's a little bit buttoned up. He's a little bit stiff. So he might have had a little bit of problem out here in the dating world, too. He's analytical. He's a business analyst. So he's about facts, figures, and things like that. So he might be missing a little bit of the emotional, what I want to call the emotional, I don't know if it's intelligence, that he might be missing cues from women. You know, he might have grown up with a father where they didn't have to pay much attention to the emotional needs of a woman if there wasn't a woman in the house. And so now Chad might be missing a little bit of that because I see it with his mother. He doesn't have much patience with his mother, and he doesn't quite understand how a woman can think a little bit differently. And that's bothering him. So I could see maybe he's having a bit of a problem. And, you know, sometimes when sons grow up in a house with a woman and no man, the man loses his ability to connect with his masculine side. He comes out too much always caring about what the woman thinks because the woman ran the house. So she was the ruler in the house. So he had to defer to that woman all the time as a son in the house with a mother. And so he loses his voice sometimes. He doesn't know how to speak up for himself because the ruler is a woman. And then he learns to understand a woman very, very well because he had to get along with his mother. But we have Chad here who is living with his father. And there could be a situation where he goes the opposite. He hasn't really had to consider a female's opinion before. And so now when he's here with his mother, you know, hey, it's a little bit of a problem. And who knows, maybe that's why his mother and his dad didn't get along in the first place. Maybe that's why there was a split household because the two meeting of the minds couldn't come together. I have no idea, but it's really interesting to see that he disagrees with his mother a lot and he's not afraid to tell her, and he gets a little bit upset about it a lot of the times. He was raised in Ohio, Midwest, and the mom was from Arizona, out west. So that's a little bit different in geography and also a little bit different in the way the culture and the people are. So there's a lot of things that I can see between Chad and his mom whereby they're not necessarily in alignment, even where you live and grow up. And when it's the difference between Ohio and Arizona, that's quite a bit different. But we'll see how he goes. He comes in, he meets Paige. She's 28. She's a business analyst too. And she says she wants somebody that's going to match her muscles. Hustle, let's be said, and her muscles, because she got muscles too. She's a sports broadcaster. Chad gave her a nice business handshake. He gave her a nice business handshake like he did with all the ladies. But he said he liked the way she dressed. She liked her hair, her smile. She was nice. She was nice, and she was one of the ones that Chad wanted to keep around. He said he's both nervous and excited to talk to Paige, which is a good thing. And Chad was like, not Chad. Paige was like, he is fine. They find out they both ran track. Now, Paige said that she's a bit of a tomboy and she gives off homey vibes, and she ran track. She played soccer. And so Chad liked that about her. But I'm going to tell you what, Chad is not going to want to compete with his girlfriend. So we'll see if Paige can sort of keep a rein on that competitiveness, because I'm going to tell you right now, Chad isn't going to want to be beat all the time by his woman. I can tell already. I can tell. So we'll see how Paige manages with a man who has as much pride or ego or bravado or whatever else you want to call it with Chad. I don't know. I don't want to put too many labels on it because I don't know for sure yet. But yeah, they played basketball and track, and she's high energy. And he goes, well, maybe we'll push each other. Yes, true. Maybe you will push each other, but maybe you'll push each other too much. But Paige ended up getting to stay. They ended up choosing her to stay. She didn't get eliminated, which I think was a good choice. But the person who did get eliminated was Miranda, which I thought was a bad thing to eliminate Miranda. See, Miranda's 30 years old. She's an HR manager, and she wants someone to love her unconditionally. And I don't know if that means she don't want to change. Like I said, is Miranda the one walking around here talking about I want a man to accept me just as I am? I don't know, Miranda. But her friends told her that the reason why they think she's single is because she always acts like she's in HR. She must be a rules follower. She must be a person who she says she nitpicks maybe on the socks that you wear. Like, like she's an HR, interviewing a talent acquisition department. I don't know. But that really surprised me because when she got to the house and, he gave her the nice business handshake again, and she liked him a lot. He thought that she had a nice smile and she was easygoing. But Miranda ended up being the one going home, and she went home primarily because, I think what she tried to do was the opposite of what her friends said. Her friends told her she was too buttoned up. She was too much like HR. She was too much rules followers. And I think what Miranda tried to do was once she realized she liked Chad, she tried to show a lighter side of herself. And I think that's when she started saying, yeah, give me a glass of champagne, pour me a little more. Because what Miranda was trying to do was she was actually trying to loosen up because she didn't want to be what her friends told her to be, which was stiff in HR. And unfortunately, the mother, who is Kina, she read Miranda wrong. She looked at Miranda as a party girl, as a girl that's a little bit wild. And then even when Miranda started talking about some of the things about hiding money, Kina really, I believe, read Miranda wrong. I think Miranda might have been a good fit for Chad, to be honest with you. I think she might have been a good balance. She's career oriented, but she is bubbly and she has a nice smile. But Chad is going to need a rules follower because he's going to have a lot of rules. He's going to have a lot of rules. So I'm sad. I was really sad to see Miranda go home. Honestly, out of all the ladies, I felt that she was probably the best pick running, and I wanted to see more of her. I really did want to see more of her. So it's so sad that she went home, all because I believe Kina read her wrong. I think Kina read her completely wrong. Even when she was telling Chad to take a drink, I think she was telling Chad to take a drink because what she sensed in Chad was what she sensed in herself, and that they both can be a little bit stiff. You see, Miranda's in HR, which means she has to interview people. She's probably part of talent acquisition or something. I don't know. So she's got to learn how to formulate somewhat of an opinion pretty soon because you only got 30 minutes. And I think she recognized in Chad what I recognized in Chad, and that he's buttoned up. And maybe what she was doing was she was trying to put him at ease as she was also trying to put herself at ease. And Kina read it all wrong. I really am sad that Miranda had to leave. I really am. Who I thought should have gone home was Lauren, 35, a hairstylist. The reason why I thought Lauren should have gone home was not because she was older than Chad and we didn't think Chad would like her. I think it's because she doesn't want to be with a man 5 years younger than her. She doesn't. Now, could Chad be a very mature 30-year-old? He could be. And he may pleasantly surprise Lauren, right? So I'm not saying that that's not a possibility. But I think in the moment, Lauren was not really trying to be with a younger man. And even though she thought that she was at a disadvantage in the beginning, I think that in the end, she didn't want to be with a 30-year-old. Lauren kept talking about she's a grown woman. You could tell by her demeanor, her positioning in life. She said that she ain't no pick me, but she does realize that she has to get chosen. Thank you, Lauren, for finally saying it. You do have to get chosen by a man. A man does have to propose. So I don't know why women are running around talking about, they ain't got to be chose. You do, because you just can't choose a man and drag him by his hair and go to the altar. So you both have to choose each other. Absolutely. But everybody is a pick me. A man is a pick me, and so is a woman, because someone has to say yes to you. And for women, more than likely, the man has to say yes first because he's got to propose, and then you say yes second. That's how it works. So, but Lauren is just trying to make the point that, hey, I've got rules, I've got boundaries. I'm just not out here desperate looking for a man. And so I'm not going to let no man treat me horribly. And maybe that's what Chad will need. I don't know. But the mama liked Lauren. She thought that she was drop dead gorgeous. She was classy. She was a grown woman. And I think the mama liked Lauren because Lauren was closer to her age. And Lauren probably demonstrated some of the characteristics that the mom sees about herself. And she thinks that's what her son needs. But who knows? Maybe Lauren is just too much more mature than Chad. We don't know what's going on. And then we got to meet Jasmine, who's on the complete opposite end. We've got Lauren established in her career. We've got Lauren who hasn't even started her career yet. Lauren said she wants a man that's going to massage her heart. She said she lived abroad. Where was she living? In Paris? Was she living in Paris? Because she said she want a man to massage her heart. And she's 26. She's a student. She got her free education over in Europe, which means she knows how to save some money. But now she's ready to come back to the United States and plant some roots. She's from Biloxi, Mississippi. And Chad liked her too. Her eyes were beautiful. And she thought she was beautiful and soft. So the mother thought she was demure. She had on her a nice little southern flared out dress, was very pretty. And once Paige and everybody else saw Jasmine walk in, they said, oh, we got some competition. We got some competition, because when they saw Jasmine walk in with Chad, they said those two look good together. They look good together. But in the end, they got to meet the mom. The mom came out and they all realized, wow, who is this young looking woman? And there you go. It was Chad's mother. The mom mentioned that Chad has some other brothers. So the mom has raised a lot of boys. Has a lot of sons. I'm not for sure if the other sons live with her or if they also live with their father. But it's so interesting that the mom eliminated Miranda because Miranda looked too wild and she was asking for a drink. But it was Lauren who said she has to remember not to curse too much because she curses a lot. You see, had the mom known Lauren liked to curse, she would have removed her too. You see what I'm saying? So I think what happened with Miranda is Miranda was listening to her girlfriends to loosen up a little bit. And unfortunately, here we had the mom in the background looking at it all wrong, because had the mom not eliminated Miranda, I don't believe that Chad would have eliminated Miranda. I really wonder who Chad would have eliminated if it wasn't Miranda. And something tells me Chad would have eliminated Lauren. I don't think that even Chad wants a woman that is older than him, because he's told us when they were playing this game, and they were playing a game about some questions. He said that if a woman made more money than him, it would make him work harder to end up making more than her. So one is, and nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with him wanting to make more, but that tells you a little bit about that if she made more than him, then it might cause a bit of a problem in the relationship. He's not that guy. He's not the guy that's going to be able to be secure and feel like the man, and he makes less. So for that respect, I think he'll look at Lauren, the 35-year-old, as having too much on him. Remember, she's 35. She's lived longer. She already owns her business. He's talking about starting a business. There's going to be knowledge that Lauren has that he doesn't have. And I think that he's not going to like that. I think he wants to be top dog in the relationship. And so for that reason, I think the two people that will be more likely they're going to be a good fit for him, it's either going to be Jasmine, even though she's just starting, or it would have been Miranda. And because Miranda now is out, I'm going to put Jasmine as the front leader. Unless Paige can show me something different, unless Paige can show me that she's not going to lead with her competitive side, then maybe I could see it working. I'll have to see. They played a game about, do we want a prenup? And that's when Miranda revealed that she would have her own secret bank account. You see, Miranda, you are bubbly. You like to talk, but that you should have kept to yourself. Now, are you right about it? Yeah, you're right about it. You are right about it. And every man can get wrong if they want to, get mad if they want to. But every woman, especially if you are working, you need to always have a little bit of your own money set to the side. And if you are not working and you are a stay-at-home mom, you need to come to an agreement with your husband that he will also put aside money in an account that is yours, only yours. There is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it at all. And Miranda really spoke truth. And I didn't like the way the mom looked down on her for that, because the mother should know that she would want that for her daughter too. I would not want my daughter not even having the ability to buy anything on her own. I'm not talking about she can't be dependent on her husband. Absolutely. But I don't want a situation where she wants to go buy something simple under a certain amount that they've agreed upon in the family, that she can't do that. So I disagree with sending Miranda home over that. I absolutely disagree. Lauren had some rules. She told him, hey, they talked about boundaries with meeting people. She said, listen, if you meet other women, you need to give them the fist bump. You need to give them the high five. No hugging, no kissing, none of that. Because what Lauren is saying is she's had some history of infidelity, cheating in her life, and she wants to make sure none of it happens. She knows how competitive women are. And in the end, Katina liked that answer. Katina liked that answer. And I think that's also another reason why she got to stay, is because Katina liked Lauren's answers. And that's what I'm saying. I think Katina over-identified with Lauren because Lauren is older. Katina looked at Lauren as if it was her girlfriend and she could hang out with her girlfriend, versus a woman that isn't a good fit for her son. So I think the mom got a little bit off. I'm not going to lie. Just like when they asked about underwear, Chad was like, I don't care if she don't wear underwear. Katina was like, she should wear underwear. Girl, that was too much. And when they were deciding who was going to stay, even the mom said to Chaz, said to Chad, Paige is an alpha male and she might be too strong for you. You might can't handle her. And what I didn't like about the mom, she put it in a way to sort of put down Chad, right? You can't handle her. That's sort of a challenge to Chad. And Chad said, well, how would you know that? But I think what the mother was saying was she does know that her son likes to be the leader. He's probably a little bit stubborn, a little bit hard-headed, doesn't want to be told what to do. And what he was saying is Paige gives the energy that she's going to be vocal and she's going to have opinions, and that might clash with you. But the way that Katina put it, she says, oh, she might be too much woman for you. She might be too strong for you. And this is also, I think, what's getting between her relationship with her son, because her phrasing of her opinions in a lot of way was sort of like a put down of Chad. And that's not going to go over well. And that's why I think Chad kept saying this might have been a bad idea. I think Chad probably originally wanted to bring his dad on the show, and they told him, no, you can't bring your dad. It has to be your mom. And so he told his mom to come on the show, but he instantly started saying, like, this may be a bad idea. I might regret this choice to come on the show with my mother, because I don't even think my mother knows me. And these classifications that my mother is using for me about how I can't handle a woman and what I can't do, she don't know who I am. She does not know who I am. So in the end, Lauren stayed, Paige stayed, Jasmine stayed, and Miranda went home. And like I said, I didn't agree with the decision. I think that Lauren should have gone home, and I think Miranda should have stayed. But unfortunately, like I said, I believe that the mother chose Lauren because she was more connected to Lauren, because Lauren is older. But that's it. That's all we got, y'all, for season 2 or season 1, episode, whatever this is, 3. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment down below. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.